Hello and welcome to another episode of UA's Double Overtime. I'm Connor Delaney.
And I'm Michael Wolf.
Mike here. We're gonna start off the show on a little more of a sad topic in the world. Obviously, we all have witnessed. We saw what happened, the tragic events in Boston during the Boston Marathon during Patriots Day. But it's nice to see how sports can come together in one. I mean, you saw the Boston Bruins last night. The whole crowd sang the national anthem. You have Sweet Caroline being played at the MLB baseball games. The New York Yankees are coming together and saying New York and Boston's won. So, I mean, how can you look at sports and how they can make such an impact and a great effect on such a tragic event that happened at the Boston Marathon?
Well, I mean, with this tragic event that happens, it takes a toll. Even if you might not know someone that was affected, but if living in that city, it definitely affects you. Being an American yourself, it definitely affects you, knowing that other Americans are being harmed. Mm-hmm. But in Boston itself, it's really nice to know that they have the teams to fall back on because right away, all their athletes supported them. Yeah. Amendola said that he was going to donate $100 for every catch that he has to a fund for the
victims.
For the victims, and he would donate $200 for all drop passes he has. And he's a new Boston athlete for
Boston
the
athlete. So just to come in and make an impact like that right away. Yeah. I just think, I mean, you got to look at it like the good's always going to outnumber the bad. I mean, as tragic event it was and how sad for something like that to even happen on such an important day in Boston. I mean, as soon as the explosions went off and, the several people that got hurt, you saw people running towards the event and trying to help people. I mean, people were hopping the gates trying to, help the people that were injured. So, I mean, it is sad that it even has to happen, that, there's a loss of an 8-year-old child out there. But at the same time, I mean, you got to look at it as try to take any positive away you can and just how people can come together, sports teams come together.
Everyone
and how
rally behind them.
Yeah, rally behind them and how sports can make such a big impact and try to soothe any pain right away if possible. But I don't know. It's just a sad thing that even happened on such a great day in Boston.
Yeah, especially Patriots Day. People get the day off from work. Everyone's always excited for it because they have the Red Sox game always, and then the marathon itself.
And the game was before the explosions happened.
Yep.
The game that morning. So, but let's get to a little lighter topic. We want to get that. We want to talk about that obviously. But let's talk some NBA playoffs, Mike. NBA playoff start. We have some Melo get the scoring title. Congratulations to him. Steph Curry getting the 3-point title, taking dethroning Ray Allen. So what do you going into the playoffs? What's your most intriguing matchup this first round? Who do you have as maybe your underdogs to surprise some people this postseason?
As much as you would like to call me biased, I think the best matchup my favorite matchup will be New York versus Boston. Originally, I wouldn't have gone with that, but being with this tragedy that happened in Boston, I think that they're going to come out playing even harder for their city, which is going to make it a harder matchup for New York, which upsets me, but it's for a good reason.
I like New York signing Quentin Richardson there. Adding him to the lineup. I mean, he's a good.
It was sad to see Rasheed Wallace go because of it.
Yeah, but he's been hurt. He hasn't played in a while. I mean, it is sad, but they needed the roster space. So Rasheed did a class act there, and he just retired. And I'm sure he'll still get a ring at the end of the season, being as long as far as the trip for the regular season. So I mean, he definitely contributed when Amari was hurt. He hit some big threes. He made some big plays throughout the course of the season.
But like you said, it's a good pickup for Quentin Richardson. But I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really think it is. I mean, we can't tell yet. He hasn't played all season. Mm-hmm. His numbers the past 2 seasons on the Magic were very low. And to come in a whole season off pretty much and to just jump into the playoffs in a playoff situation, that's not easy to do. Quentin Richardson, he did play with the Knicks from 05 to 09, and I mean, he didn't play too great with them then. I don't see him playing too great with them now. Like I said, especially jumping right into the playoff scenario.
Hey, if he can knock down a few shots and just hit a few 3-point field goals throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what they picked him up for.
I think the Knicks, I do think that will be, I agree with your point saying that with what just happened in Boston with the tragedy of the Boston Marathon, that the Celtics will come out with that much more fire in them and that much more passion when they are playing. With that being said, I still think the Knicks are too strong and will advance into the
I definitely agree with
conference semis. My most intriguing matchup, I have to say, is the Lakers and the Spurs. Spurs are awful banged up right now. They haven't been playing too well leading into the playoffs, and the Lakers, they've been hot. I mean, Kobe went down, but they've done what they had to do. I mean, they won like 27 of their last 38 games, something like that. But they're coming in hot. So, I mean, I think they have the team. They have the big guys to do it. Unfortunately, they don't have their fearless leader in Kobe. Yeah. But I think they can still get it done in the first round without him.
Well, we saw what they did with the Rockets. They went into overtime the other night off of Parsons' 30-foot three-point shot, which was absolutely ridiculous. But with that game, you saw Pau Gasol step up to what looked like to be the Pau Gasol of old, which because in the middle of this season, before he got hurt and when he came back, he was really looking like he was starting to go on the decline. But I don't know, maybe it's the loss of Kobe. He knew he had to step it up, and now he's back to his regular self. Between him and Dwight Howard, that game they had 28 rebounds total. So as long as Dwight Howard could step it up, he could. He needs to be on Tim Duncan, and they need to cover that pain. They need. I don't know. The Spurs, they're an old team. They're banged up, but they're very experienced. They've been here so many times before. Every year they're in there, and they're in the contention for the championship. So, yeah, I agree it's a good matchup, but I don't see the Lakers going past 6 games against the Spurs without Kobe Bryant, because they do not have the scorer for that.
Okay. I think that does definitely hurt them not having their leading scorer in Bryant. So we have first round in the East. We have the number 1 seed, the Miami Heat, versus the 8 seed Milwaukee Bucks. Who do you have in that matchup? Is that
Miami and 4?
Miami and 4.
Miami and 4, definitely.
Not 5. You don't give Milwaukee benefit.
I don't give Milwaukee any shot for that.
I agree. Miami, obviously. Let's move on. So number 2 Knicks versus the 7 Celtics.
I want to say Knicks in 6. I originally would have said Knicks in 5, but now with the tragedy, I think they're going to be playing very, very hard. They're going to want to win it for their city, but they're going to come up just short for it.
Okay, I agree. I'd probably say Knicks in 6. I agree with that. Indiana Pacers, number 3 seed versus the number 6 seed Atlanta Hawks. Who do you have with that?
As much as I want to say Indiana's going to be able to take it easily, I don't think they will. I'm going to say Indiana in 6 also. I think Atlanta's going to try to step it up. I mean, Atlanta really has not shown much to be a 6 seed. The Eastern Conference wasn't that strong of a conference.
I think Indiana's with their defense and their ability to get on the break, turning defense into offense. I think Indiana will be too strong for Atlanta. It'll be a good competitive series, but I think Indiana's too tough. The most competitive series, however, in the East, which I think will be the 4 seed Brooklyn versus the 5 seed Chicago. Who do you have in that matchup?
That's a tough one because yes, Chicago is missing Derrick Rose, but
they missed Derrick Rose
even
all
without
season
even without him, they are a very, very scary team.
Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, Carlos Boozer.
Brooklyn has not been playing up to their potential, and to go into the playoffs playing the way they are, I'm going to have to give it to Chicago.
I think Tom Thibodeau and Chicago, just with the experience that they have in the playoffs, the defensive mind that they have within their system, I just think Chicago will be too tough. I think they will pull off the upset, and they will
definitely agree. I think they're a tougher team also.
To face Miami and then eventually lose to Miami, obviously.
I mean, honestly, when I watch the Brooklyn Nets games, it doesn't look like they want it, to be honest with you. Yeah. And when you watch Chicago, they're coming out there playing their heart out every night, no matter who they're playing.
Yeah.
So, it's a big difference.
And to even say without Derrick Rose, to play as well as they played for the entirety of the season says something in itself. So let's transition into the West, where we have the 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the returning West champions, versus the 8 seed Houston Rockets. What do you make of that matchup? And how clutch is that the Lakers they won and then Houston lost? That way they could get the 7 seed.
I was afraid LA wasn't even Lakers weren't even going to get in it. I thought Utah was going to make the run and get in there.
Well, they would have to win and then Lakers lose in order for that to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean it's already over. It's already
over. But yeah, it's good for Lakers. But anyways, in the matchup with the Rockets and OKC, who do you have there? OKC again, sweep.
I want to say sweep. I would very much like to see Houston
James Harden might come out a little angry against his old team and put some numbers up.
I think that's definitely a possibility, but they're too strong. They're such a good team all around, defense, offense. With
Kevin Durant,
with just
Russell Westbrook's too good.
Russell Westbrook is so quick. Yeah. It's going to be real hard. I don't think Jeremy Lin cannot cover Russell Westbrook.
It'll be
and even with the help with James Harden, it's really not going to make a difference. I'm going to have to go with the sweep for it, actually.
And James Harden puts up 38. Durant will be right behind him, putting up 35. So,
exactly.
Let's go to the 2 matchup: the Spurs versus the 7 seed Lakers. What do you make of that one? Who do you have?
I think the Lakers are going to try to prove themselves without Kobe. They're going to be playing extra hard. They're going to be passing the ball around a lot more, being that Kobe's not there. They're going to be looking for more open shots. So I think they're going to have they're gonna try their best, but
Spurs are still going to be too strong.
It's going to be the Spurs.
I think Spurs' depth and their experience with Greg Popovich there, I think it'll be good competitive series.
I don't think it's even a question.
I think the Spurs will pull it. My favorite matchup of the playoffs, and I think the most exciting matchup,
I think this one's going to be really fun.
The Denver Nuggets and the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really fun.
Fast pace. Fast break, in-your-face matchup. It's Steph Curry versus Ty Lawson. I think that's a great matchup at point guard right there.
It's two very athletic teams.
Absolutely.
Like with so much different kinds of talent on both
Andre
sides.
Iguodala, Wilson Chandler out there for the Nuggets. I mean, Steph Curry, I just love watching Steph Curry play, period. The guy is lights out, dropping 38, 10 assists. I mean, he's a great point guard. He's become an elite point guard.
Especially now with the record for most threes.
Yeah. From a point guard, he's not a spot-up shooter like a Reggie Miller, a Ray Allen, a Larry Bird. I mean, not that Larry Bird, he did everything, but he's a point guard. He's running the show. To break that record shows how phenomenal of a shooter he actually is.
272 3-points in one season. That's ridiculous. I don't even think I've hit that many in my entire life just shooting around.
You probably didn't hit the rim that many times.
Let's take that easy.
What do you have in that matchup, though?
I want to say Golden State. I'm a big Steph Curry fan. It's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the 7th game.
I think it'll come to 7. I'd love to see Golden State because I agree with you. I am a huge Steph Curry fan. But I just think the Nuggets are the more well-rounded team. George Karl, I believe, will get Coach of the Year just the way he's handled that team. And they really don't have a star, but everyone plays well. Unfortunately, they have to have JaVale McGee take the floor every night. But he's either top 10 or not top 10. Yeah. But let's transition to our last matchup. We have the 4 versus 5 Los Angeles Clippers versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Who do you have in that? I think that's a no contest. I think Clippers are.
I think Clippers easily. Without Rudy Gay now, they don't have that score like. I mean, they have Zach Randolph, who he comes out every night.
But with
plays
DeAndre
hard,
Jordan and Blake Griffin in the paint, I think they'll give him enough. They're more athletic than Randolph.
I definitely agree.
Chris Paul running the show. He's proven to be the best point guard in the league year after year. So I think
we could both agree that LA Clippers are going to take it with ease.
And I look forward to the Clippers to make a push and hopefully face they'll face OKC in the semifinals of the Western Conference, but I think that'd be a great matchup, and I think they'll definitely compete with OKC. But that about wraps up our first half here. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the second half.
Yeah, the Knicks got some team. Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire. I can't even think about that. How's it going, guys? I know here on UA Double Overtime we're a sport-related show, but today I want to talk about our youth. And a big problem with our youth today is marijuana. But what I want to know is, does our youth have the strength to say no?
UA Overtime, #1 in sports and #1 in fighting the war on drugs.
Welcome back to the second half of UA's Double Overtime. This half we're going to be talking about a little bit of Major League Baseball, one of my favorite sports to watch and play. America's pastime. Let's start off with the New York Yankees. They're 8-5 currently in the middle of April, which honestly I thought they were going to be around the 500 range, which I guess they are. They've only played 13 games so far, but to be honest with you, it's a better showing than what I expected with all the injuries and whatnot. So. I mean, Connor, are they at where you thought they would be, or are they above where you thought, below?
That whole division itself, we just had the conversation before the lights came back on here. The red light turned back on, but we were saying how that division's like flip-flopped. You have Tampa Bay at 5-9. You have Toronto there, who made all those offseason acquisitions, and now they're 6-9. The
Baltimore
Red
right
Sox,
in the middle.
Who everyone was saying like, oh, the Red Sox, they have no shot. They're 10-4. Second best record in the show right now, and they have Yanks right behind them. They're playing extremely well despite all the offseason injuries they had, losing Granderson, Teixeira,
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah,
and I want to bring up a topic that we've discussed before. We said how their home runs would be lacking with the loss of Granderson, Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez, and even losing Raul Ibanez, Andrew Jones, but. It doesn't seem like they lost any steam at all. They have 20 home runs already in the season in 13 games.
Guys are exceeding expectations.
Yeah, I agree.
Vernon Wells.
Vernon Wells has 3 home runs, a great acquisition. Lyle Overbay has, I think, 3 also. Yeah, Robbie Cano has 4.
Robbie Cano doing what we expect of Robbie Cano to do, put up MVP-type numbers.
So right now, the offseason acquisitions look pretty good. From what I thought wasn't going to be that great, it turns out pretty well. Everyone's doing so good so far. It is the beginning of the season. And I want to stress that enough because Boston having the second
150 games left.
Yeah, there's 150 games left. Boston having the best record, second best record in MLB right now. You know, I think they're just off to a hot start. They're going to end up on the bottom of the AL East. That's for sure. Toronto's going to have to come up. I can't see them staying at the bottom. Tampa Bay's going to have to come up. I mean, for my sake as a Yankee fan, I just hope they could keep up and
hey,
stay
if they
up
can
there.
play at an even keel and a pace like this, and then once they get their big bats back in the lineup, you know, I'm hoping on and banking on Pineda. I don't want to put too much faith into him, but if he comes back and we have a strong right-hander that's very much similar to like a CC Sabathia, you know, with the stuff he throws high 96 to 100,
Yep.
unreal slider.
I hope for that,
slider.
but to be honest, I'm worried. For him to come back right now, or when he will come back, it's really scary.
I mean, don't push
to know
him. Obviously, if we can get him back for postseason, you know, that'd be ideal. But another team, if you're looking at the AL here, you look at a team like the Los Angeles Angels with all the acquisitions they brought in. Josh Hamilton. I mean, Jared Weaver did go down the other days, but they still have a good rotation there. Dan Herron, Pujols, Mike Trout. Their lineups out of this world. So to see a team like that and a team like Oakland, 12-4. Coco Crisp has like 5 home runs already. So I mean, a team like that at the top of the division. That's Moneyball for you. That's Billy Bean and
Yep.
Billy Bean baseball. You know, that's just how they play. He brings guys in that are going to fill the sheets and do what's expected of them.
I think it's going to be a more exciting season than what we originally thought, to be honest with you. From the way it looks like, a lot of teams are coming out hot. So a lot of teams are coming out hot. The Atlanta Braves are 12-2.
12-2. Justin Upton has 8 home runs. 8 home runs. Only 12 RBIs, but to have 8 home runs at this
Early
point in the season, yeah, I mean that's phenomenal. Team like, I mean, looking at the Chicago Cubs, who I claimed that would be my sleeper team. They're not proving up to what I said.
I think you need another 20 years.
Maybe, but yeah, the Mets are above 500 at 7-6
with their pitcher Matt Harvey, who
Harvey.
looks like a possible Cy Young. I mean,
He's pitching very well right now.
He's 3-0. He's got 25 strikeouts in just 22 innings with a .82 ERA. I mean, he's pitching out of this world right now for a Met in Queens at Citi Field. I mean, for his sake, I hope he could last, but the Mets won't. The Mets absolutely won't.
No.
So
I mean, David Wright, he has about 4 home runs thus far. He's playing well. But it's the Mets.
Matt Harvey's just the R.A. Dickey of the Mets this year, where they have a great pitcher, but to be honest, they're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and Matt, he's a prospect. I mean, he's gone up to the Mets system. He had a great season. The second half last season when they pulled him up, he had like a sub-3 ERA. Had I think 9 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. So, I mean, he's a good pitcher. This is what they expected, what they obviously wanted out of their top prospect pitcher. And for him to come out like this and put up the numbers he's putting up is quite impressive. I'm just more upset that I didn't pick him up for my fantasy team when I had the option to. That would
have been a great pickup.
It would have been phenomenal. It would have been a phenomenal pickup.
Unreal.
Yeah, unreal actually.
Speaking of a Cy Young caliber pitcher so far, I'm going to have to make a very bold statement. I know I talked about this with you the other night. I think this could be the last chance for Andy Pettitte to get this Cy Young award.
Yeah.
He's got 2 starts, 1.2 ERA.
Let's get this on camera. You have what, 37-1 odds on this?
Hey, I mean, I never gave up hope in Andy Pettitte.
I hope he pitches well, but he's not going to ever have the strikeouts that he needs to obtain in order to become a Cy Young type
Listen,
pitcher.
if you could keep that ERA down, you don't need the strikeouts to be a Cy Young winner.
You absolutely do.
That's not true.
Yes, you do. Look at Jared Jurgens of 2 years ago. He had an ERA of like 1.96, but he had 108 strikeouts throughout the season. It just doesn't get it done. You need to have 200-plus strikeouts in order to be a Cy Young. He'll be a candidate, maybe.
You know I had to bring it up just because we talked about it the other night.
Of course you did, and I'm not mad at you. I think he's pitching well, and I hope he continues to pitch well for.
So do I for the Yankees, and I think it's great. I think it's great because
the fact they are 9-6. I mean, CC pitched a phenomenal game last night.
Finally, I mean, he really hasn't been showing the CC that he is, and I hope he can break out of that and pitch like.
But he always starts off slow.
He does. That's very true.
He looks like he's lost some weight in the offseason.
He definitely did. I don't know if you saw that new.
The commercial.
ESPN commercial.
He looks
very thin.
We watched that together. You were at.
I think we talked.
Yates Estate the other night when that was being aired.
And Mariano coming back with
4 for 4.
4 for 4 save opportunities. He's the Mariano of old. He hasn't lost a step. That first game back, his cutter was a little off. I won't lie.
Only pitch he throws.
It's the only pitch he throws, but he got the job done that first game either way.
How can you be that successful throwing one pitch your entire career?
It has to be. The thing is, that question must have been asked to him a million times his whole entire life. But the thing is that he is so perfect. And the rest of the Yankees team talks about, or I've heard them talk about him all the time in so many different interviews throughout my life watching Yankees as a fan, that they say he is the most athletic person on the team. Yeah. And that was from when he started with them in the mid-late 90s till now. They still say he's one of the most athletic on the team, even as in his early 40s, which is kind of ridiculous, even coming back from the torn ACL. So Mariano, that's what they call the GOAT for, greatest of all time. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, best reliever of all time.
Let's end this segment with just saying, the Yankees' future looks bright for how they're playing at this point, and what could possibly come of them in the next few months with getting some players back to Sherrick Granderson. I mean, for us Yankee fans, for you Yankee fans out there, I think the outlook and the future of this season is still, it's not as bad as what people first thought it was going to be and start off as. So that about wraps up our second half, though. Stay tuned, and we'll do the big finish.
Go Jeter.
Hi guys. How's it going?
Oh, what's up?
Okay, so I have kind of some bad news. I was just upstairs looking at our ratings, and we are not doing that good. Right now, Spencer is beating us, and we cannot have that happen. UA Overtime is not a better show than us, and they're not going to get better ratings than us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's what we got to do. Game plan. We need new ideas. Come on, pitch them at me.
I got it.
What?
Entertainment and gossip news.
Okay, that's good. What else you got for me? Come on, anyone?
I like the whole lingerie thing. We should just move into
No,
that.
Frankie.
No?
Why would we
Good
do that? No. Why would we ever do that?
Nude news. I think that'd be
No,
cool.
that's like really priority.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think our school would appreciate that. Okay, what else? Kim, what do you got for me? What do you think?
What about something like people falling in love on campus?
No. Come on, Brianna. What do you got for me? What's better than
What
that?
about like a campus life segment? Finding out what people's pet peeves, what they like, don't like about the school.
I like that. That's good.
Oh,
That's
I
good.
got one.
What?
Profiles on you Albany athletes, man.
Good.
They feel they're not important on campus, so you gotta
Bring them in here,
Yeah,
interview them.
exactly.
All right, good. I like that. Yeah, then more people will probably watch.
Oh,
Any other
I
ideas?
got
What?
the best. This is gonna be the best idea of all time.
The
ratings,
best idea.
ratings through the roof.
All
That's
right.
what I'm about to say.
Let's hear it.
Right. What
Right, so listen.
Tell us.
listen.
All right. Y'all are so excited. All right, so I'm following the internet for quite some time right now, a lot of YouTube videos, and I've been noticing that goats are the new trend, the new craze all of a sudden. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to get goats here in the studio, like while we're doing shooting.
Go.
Dude,
really? Are you Dr. Doolittle or something, dog?
Come on.
Like,
No.
oh, what's up?
No.
Like, you know how...
So this isn't gonna work out anymore.
Goats and lingerie. Yeah.
No.
Goats and
Okay.
That'd be
No, and it's time for you to go.
Welcome back to our famous big finish. Well, we got a good big finish today. We're going to start off. What do you think of Kobe returning and the likelihood of him coming back as dominant as we know Kobe to be?
Well, Kobe Bryant, he's always that dominant player. I have a great quote for you from Kobe Bryant. He says, "One day the beginning of a new journey will commence. That day is not today." So he's coming back. He's going to come back hard. He's going to be working after the 6 to 9 months that it's going to take to recuperate, and he's going to be coming back hard. Over/under of quarterbacks in this year's draft at 2.
I have to either go under or right at 2. I think Barkley will either slip to late first round or early second round. Knicks Heat, is it a lock for the East Conference Finals?
I say without a doubt. There's no chance of anyone stopping the Heat in the Eastern Conference besides the New York Knicks, and I think the New York Knicks are going to be the one to get there and give them that shot to possibly take them down and go to the NBA championship.
Fair enough.
We discussed sports movies last episode, but
MSG.
what is your favorite Rocky movie?
Rocky's my favorite sports series, probably favorite series of all time. Favorite Rocky movie. I got to go Rocky 1. It's close to Rocky 4 when he fights the Russian Ivan Drago, but Rocky 1 just the ultimate classic there. Where the story starts
Definitely.
off, and my favorite
With the two turtles.
Last one, over under, Mike, of Spencer, our producer's batting average and intramural softball. Over under of a .100.
Of a .100.
Over under.
As a fellow teammate of Spencer Pesh, I would have to say he's batting over 500 this season with a 1,000% fielding average.
Over
When he
500?
told me he wanted to play the hot corner, I said no way. I did not want him there. at all. We played last game. He was unstoppable. There was nothing that got past him. He had the gun from third base. He even shifted to the outfield for a little bit to take care of some loose balls out there, catching under other people's gloves. This kid was all over the place. He was like a softball all-star. I've never seen anything like it.
Got a very own Cal Ripken on our hands. Let's give a round of applause to Spencer.
His 40-yard dash might still be above 6 seconds,
but he plays a mean hot corner is what you're telling me.
A mean hot corner. Nothing gets past this kid.
Good for him. All right, well, kudos to Spencer. You know, congratulations. It's good to hear we got an MVP on our hands. But that about wraps it up for today's show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Catch you later if you give me a good pass.
You just want